Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Light and Shadow. My name is JF, I'm your host, and today we have quite a few things to talk about. So, buckle up. Before, again, I'm going to start with two quotes. The first one is all the beauty of life is made up of lights and shadows. And that's my book, and I'll let the book go. I'll look that up. And the second one I like because it represents so many things. A storm will destroy what isn't solid, but reveal what what is. So the storms in our life reveals everything we need to know about people. Because what isn't solid will dissipate. What is solid will stay. What is solid will always stay. What's based on a solid foundation in your life will weather the storm. So build your foundation. Build your values. Build your career. Build your family. Build your foundation so that it can withstand storms and danger. All right. That's it for the quotes. Last week, I was telling you guys I regained control of my life and my mindset. My authentic self, where I raised myself above the trauma, uh, where I found out that I'm very different, but not less, and where I can see details in other people that other people are blind to. Uh, I want to go back to the word mindset for a second. What is mindset? You guys know? I'm sure a lot of you know that already. Mindset is a change in your way of thinking. Just like I chose to think a different way after I heal myself. I chose to look at the light instead of looking at the darkness because, you know what, I just don't have time for the darkness. There's enough ugliness in the world right now without adding anything like that to my life. I refuse to. Not happening. And once I make my mind, well, a lot of people who know me know I stick to it. And then we also have a word that's associated with mindset, and it's manifestation. Now, a lot of people think that the word manifestation, to be included, initially meant like, I don't know, some kind of voodoo magic, like it's mysterious. But it's not. When you manifest something in your life, you're not just wishing it to appear as if by magic. In order to manifest something in your life, you have to use and you have to change your mindset. Like, let's say your manifestation is, a manifestation is never a wish. Okay, it's very different. You don't say I wish. You say, universe, show me how to go to the next level of my job. That's it. That's all you have to say. And then change your mindset to what you need to attain that goal. Okay? So if you need more education, then go back to school. If you need to work less hours because your family is more important to you, do that. You change your own mindset to what you want things to be. And people who don't realize they can change their mindset and change their life are stuck somewhere forever. If the thing is, changing a mindset is like flexing a muscle. The more you flex it, the stronger it becomes. The more you apply changing your mindset in life, the better you become at it. And the better you become at it, you're unstoppable. Okay? And yes, it looks like I'm making it very simple, but it is. It really is. But we get caught up in life. We get caught up in the small details. We get caught up in stuff that pisses us off and robs us of our joy. There's all kinds of things that happen. But changing your mindset in life is as necessary as breathing. Because if you don't change your mindset, you're going to be stuck where you're at for the rest of your life. And that's never going to change. But when you learn to change your mindset, especially when you teach children to do that, man, they become adults that will just soar right up. Because they gain the confidence of the ability of doing that. And it's something that we don't think about. Sometimes we do it automatically without knowing. But once you realize that you have power over what you manifest, then manifestation is not magic, is it? It's just you changing your mindset and going after what you want. Does it always work? Of course it doesn't. It's life. But you know what? When life knocks you on your ass, you get back up and you go again. As long as you have breath inside of you, as long as you carry that light, you carry on. So that's the one thing I wanted to say about mindset and manifestation today. Another thing I want to talk to, a subject that was brought up to me last week about spirituality. And I was often mistaken for religion or some kind of witchcraft. Some people never have a need to educate themselves. And a lot of what they think and a lot of what other people think is very different, because you have people who educate themselves on subjects and gain understanding. And that's one of the truths in my life. I thrive on gaining understanding, even in especially in bad situations, because when I gain understanding, I gain the ability to deal with that situation. And some understanding comes from a place of love. It comes from empathy. Sometimes somebody does you wrong, and you're sitting there thinking, what the hell? But then your emotional intelligence kicks in, your empathy kicks in, and you start thinking, okay, you put yourself in that person's shoe. What has that person been through that they did that to that person, or whatever? And once you understand that, you gain sympathy for that person. However, gaining sympathy doesn't mean forgiveness, doesn't mean that the person's actions weren't right. It just means that you've gained a different understanding of what that particular individual went through. And that's insight, and that's wisdom, and that's clarity. And that's important. If you keep judging the world by what you see and not what other people see, you have a very narrow view of what's going on around you. But if you view people the way they see themselves or the way they're seen by others, you gain perspective again. You gain wisdom. You gain insight. And and tell you the truth, being autistic, that's what I do. When I think as an autistic person, I don't think in terms of words. I think in terms of pictures and sound. I know it's very different from the normies, but that's the way I think. When I build something, like I love woodworking, and I've done several projects in my house. But when I start a project, I don't get a plan and start from point A. That's not the way I learn. In order for me to learn how to build something, I have a picture of the finished product, and I deconstruct it to the very beginning. And that's how I do I don't do it backward, but in order to learn how to do it forward, I have to learn it backwards. It's weird, isn't it? That's the brain of an autistic person. Again, don't put us all in the same bunch because autism is a spectrum and people are placed differently across the spectrum. But in my case, because I'm telling my truth, that's what I experienced. And, and that's what makes me different. That's what makes me stand out because I have a very different way of thinking outside the box. I have a very different way of getting myself up and in fighting mode again. I love that about me. But to go back to the what I was talking about, gaining insight and all that. When you gain insight like that, when you get a different perspective in somebody's life, that also grows your life. And because it grows your life, you're probably not going to be as harsh on that person as you probably intended to in the beginning. Yeah. So that also raises their life. See where I'm going with this? It's the little things that we need to learn to do for ourselves sometimes that are so important in who we are as a race, as human beings. Because people forget we're not human beings with souls. We are souls living a human experience. Very different. We're so centered on who we are in flesh that we forget that that's not who we are, really. This here is who we are. This, our conscience. And that's why after I got my diagnosis for autism, that I was so adamant, no matter what, that I was going to be my true, authentic self. Because if I cannot lead me to the truth, and I cannot lead me to the light, then what am I doing? Then I have no business leading other people. When you lead, folks, lead by example. Always. Always lead by example with understanding and love. And that makes all the difference. It doesn't mean you have to be soft. Just lead by example. Be understanding, to a certain degree, of course. There are a bunch of idiots out there sometimes. Yeah. The second part of what I wanted to pass on today is I came up with an idea. I came up with a challenge. I came up with a challenge for the new generation. So all the kids that are going to school, anywhere from, I don't care, I mean, kindergarten to university. Teachers, professors, listen up. If you're hearing this podcast, that's my challenge to you guys. Imagine if we can send a message of love to a random person on the planet. Because we have the technology to do that. Like, let's say you want to send a certain person in China, for example. You want to say to them, you know what? You don't know who I am. I'm from Canada, but I know you're a person like me, and I appreciate you, and I hope you're doing well. And I wish you well. Now, if enough people did that, and we start receiving letters from across the globe, how would that make you feel? How would that raise your life? And it's something that would take the students 5 minutes. Take a piece of paper, and what am I talking about? I'm so old school. On the computer, or your tablet, or your phone, or whatever. And just type a short message. A short message of love, like, you know, I wish you well. I know this is who I am. I hope you're doing okay where you're at. And just leave it at that. Just leave it at that. Then, on the computer, translate it to whoever you want to send to look at the ad. We have the technology to find everybody in the world. We have the technology to take what we write in a certain language and switch it to another. How easy would that be if people did that? Now, I'm podcasting from Nova Scotia, Canada, Dartmouth, Halifax. I challenge the teachers here to start this. Be the start of a movement that can go worldwide. Wouldn't that be wonderful? To raise people's light that we don't even know. And that they in turn can do the same thing. Invite them to write back to either you or whoever. That would be nice. These are the little things in life that we can do that raise our light, that raise our love, that raise our power to love, and that better us. It makes us better. It makes us better people. It makes us better leader. It makes us better parental figure. It makes us better. So why can't you take 5 minutes during the day and do something? And I know a lot of you do that already. But my question is, what have you done this week? What little thing that you did this week that might change somebody's life? You know, there's somebody walking in front of you on the sidewalk, and all of a sudden their wallet dropped. They don't realize it because they have their headphones on. You pick up the wallet, you tap on it, and hey, you lost this. Now, that makes a huge difference in somebody's life. I know something about that. Having lost or left behind several things before, so. And these are just a few examples of what you can do. Another thing I want to pass on is, especially for people who live in big cities, and take yourself out of the big city, like at least a few times. Go in nature. Go sit down in the woods. Go hug a freaking tree. I don't care what you do. Go in nature. Ground yourself. Earth is just not a planet. Like, it's statically charged, and when you walk barefoot on the earth, it's a healing thing. It really is. There's actually been documentation on that. But take yourself back to nature, just for an hour. Go walk on. There's many places that have paths in the woods, or just do it. Go kayaking. Go walk in the woods. Go camping. Spend some time in nature. When we're locked up in the concrete jungle, that's not always good for us. Just saying. Okay, so we've did a few things, and I'm serious about the challenge, teachers in Halifax, Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. It's something that you can do if you're a student that's not gonna disrupt your class. Like 5 minutes. Yes, I know, I'm not being realistic. I can hear my sister. I get it. It takes longer than me. What I'm saying is that the act itself takes about 5 minutes. Do it. I'd love to see what comes out of this. I'd love to see the positive result that we can see from that. And talking about positive result, I must say that I am very, very, very grateful for all of you who've watched my first podcast. The numbers that I got was, I wasn't out of this world, but it wasn't out of my world. Like, I wasn't expecting this at all. So I appreciate each and every one of you. And to those who know me, no, I'm not crazy. I haven't lost my fucking mind. I just changed my mindset. I'm doing things differently with my life because I want to bring positive change around me. That's all I want to say about that. Did you remember to even say hi to your neighbors this week? Did you? Smile. Sometimes all it takes is light up somebody's a smile, a hug. That's all you need to do sometimes. And then again, start with your own family. Make sure you hug your kids every day. Make sure you hug your spouse every day. Make sure you tell them you love them. That's important for their well-being and for their emotional well-being. I have this ability being an empath and being the INTJ type personality um, because I use what I thought was just intuition. It's not just intuition. I use my intuition, my empathy, and my intuition. By the way, is called introverted intuition. Intuition. It all happens inside me, uh, and actually, I can feel the energy of emotion, which is annoying as shit sometimes. Uh, and that gift of mine, it's been with me since I was a child. But all I was feeling is like, when you say you have a gut feeling, and that saved my caboose several times. But as I progressed in life, it was happening more and more, and I still didn't know why. But it was after starting taking vitamins when I started thinking clearly that the veil lifted, that it kicked in. And I knew things without knowing them. But it wasn't magic. Again, it was my empathy looking at a problem a certain way, with my intuition giving me a few choices, and then my brain takes over. And my artistic brain is always on the back of it's always on. There's always something going on. Like example. If I think of a problem and I spend 10, 15 minutes thinking of it and I can't solve it, I'll just say, okay, I'll leave it there because I know that in either an hour or in 24 hours or 48 hours, the answer will pop up in my mind because my brain's in the background analyzing. It's weird, but that's how people with high intuition actually work. It's not magic. You use your actual natural abilities together to solve problems. In my case, that's the way it works. Um, like I've been spookily accurate on stuff that I have no first knowledge on, just because I did that, and it's something that's happening automatically in my brain. I have no control over it. So a lot of people will often come to me and, how did you know that? I don't know. I just did because my brain did the work without me being involved. Figure that. It's crazy. Um, but I know that I'm here to affect changes. And the changes that I want to see in the world is for us to repel the shadows. You guys know this is my message, this is my mission. But this week, I call on those who are called chosen, those who are called light workers, those who are called starseed, whatever you call yourself. It's time. It's time for you guys to come out of the shadows and do your job. It's time to spread the word now. It's time to spread the love. And I count on each and every one of you who call themselves as such to do your job. I would love to hear from all of you. And you can reach me at Froggy, FROGGY, 666 at live.ca. Froggy 666 because when I was in the Navy, they used to call me the evil frog because I was some people's boss and they didn't like me. So that's how I came up with that email, Froggy 666. Again, my artistic brain. So, guys, you know who you are. You know who you are. I've talked to several one of you already. It's time. It's time to activate. It's time to put your plans into fruition. It's time to embark on this journey. And if you'd like to corroborate with me, I would be more than happy. So just reach out. And in future podcasts too, I plan on bringing leaders in our society. Not necessarily political leader. I'm talking about those people that head organizations around the country that are helping people, bringing light to people. And I've started writing a few people, so I'm just waiting to hear back. But eventually, this could become a debate as well. I have no format. I'm just winging it. The other thing is, if you like this podcast and you do have experience with podcasts, can you reach out to me and just give me some pointers because I'm putting things out, but I'd like to make it better as it evolves. And I would appreciate anybody's help on that. Thank you. Let's see. What else do we have to talk about today? And today I'm not taking an hour. I think 30 minutes is pretty good. Last week was because I had to tell my backstory, and that's what it took longer. So half an hour is good. Okay, one thing I want to tell you guys, don't ever abandon yourself for others. Yes, go and do good work. Go and spread the light. Go and help somebody cross the street. I don't know. But don't ever abandon yourself to the idea either. Okay? Remain who you are. Remain true to who you are. And just help. That's all you need to do. You don't have to help for 70 hours a week. Help for take 2 minutes during the day, 5 minutes. Pay for somebody's coffee. Just do something good. There's so many ways to do that. And I'd love to hear your thought on that. What are your ways of being good? Maybe there's something that I've never seen before, never thought about. And on that note, we're nearing the half-hour mark. And again, I thank you, everyone who watched this. I will repost on Facebook, Pinterest, not Pinterest, YouTube, and TikTok. Until next week, I wish you love and light, and keep spreading your light out there. And remember, light workers, it's on you now. Go.